have Mr. Christoph here, MMA fighter. I'm going to be, just interviewing him on what his goals are. So, Mr. Chris.
Well, hi, Christoph, by the way. Amateur MMA fighter right now. Before quarantine and coronavirus, I was going to go make my pro debut, but that fell through a couple days before. I was making weight, and then got the call, don't fight. So currently just doing absolutely everything I can to stay in shape, to keep learning, and I've even taken a lot of time to train with you and sharpen up my boxing and do a lot of stand-up work, at that cardio of just throwing punches, non-stop. So I've been training since 2007. So that's when I officially could get my own money to go pay for training. So that was a little rough at the beginning, but started learning jiu-jitsu and it really got my mind wrapped around the idea that, wow, there's a lot I need to learn. And,
right.
Even today though, you still feel like, man, there's so much to learn. It just never ends. And I think that's one big reason on why I love MMA so much, is there's so many pieces to the puzzle, and there's so much to think about. The possibilities are endless. That's probably one reason. Before a fight, like, you think a lot. There's so many things that could happen, and so many routes to go, and just so much to play with. And watching all the great coaches like Faraz Sahabi, Greg Jackson, and watching how a lot of these fighters perform, George St. Pierre,
right.
And you've seen his career take place, and they have just these set game plans of how they execute. And that's my absolute main reason for wanting to do MMA. I like the competition. I want to beat the best. That's what I've always wanted. I don't want the fame. I don't care about the money. All I want to do is beat the absolute best guys. I mean, you have a set time period to do it, and on any given night, the better man is going to win. But it's my job to do everything I can to make sure I'm the best on that night. And what we've talked about a lot is what I'm really honing in on finally is just getting my brain and my mind completely together to just show up on fight night and be my best, do my best, have fun. I mean, look at the quarantine and everything that just happened.
It starts in the mind.
It's all in the mind, and look at anything can be taken away from you at any moment. I could leave here and go lose my leg or whatever. So to enjoy the process. Now, I mean, I have very good coaches. I got a lot of good people behind me, and it's just I have so much support.
Some of the greats. Dan
Henderson. I got Sam Alvey. I got Tom Galicchio behind me. Always have my fights. I have you, and I always have many people around me that just help me to put me back in my place, tell me to relax, tell me to sharpen up. I mean, one of the things that you said to me before my last fight was okay, you look stiff, loosen up, you know what I mean? And Sam Alvey too, and also during my fight, okay, he'll tell me relax so I can, you know what I mean? I'm really starting to just get the hang of it, mentally. So I cannot wait to compete again. It feels like it's been forever, and I'm just excited. I feel like just a totally new person.
Yeah.
You're
not alone. Everyone's feeling it with this whole coronavirus thing out there. Now, one of the great qualities I've noticed, because I've had the opportunity to work with you on the boxing skills, is that, you really respond and you have listening ears. A lot of fighters, sometimes you can tell them repeatedly certain things, and, some are just slower to understand. Others, they just used to their bad habits. But you tend to listen and really put into play what you're being taught. So I think that's a great quality that's going to take you like a long way in your career. Now let me ask you this: did you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, I want to be an MMA fighter or a UFC fighter"? How did you get into being a fighter?
You know what? That's actually it's kind of a really interesting. So one day I was just working out at the gym. I had like no idea what I'm going to do with my life. I'm constantly getting jumped, constantly getting beat up, and I really wanted to. I started watching the UFC. I saw Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture.
Oh man, one of my
yeah.
favorites, Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, so Chuck Liddell is that was kind of the first guy that turned me on to UFC. But I saw Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture, I believe it was fight number 1. And Randy Couture, I thought Chuck Liddell was going to win because he was the only guy I'd heard about. And Randy Couture comes in, wrestles him, and beats him. And then there was another fight down the road of Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture. And I was just really hooked at that point, but never thought about actually doing it until one day I was just in the gym, you know, kind of sick of getting beat up everywhere I went, you know what I mean? And I was reading a magazine. I saw Forrest Griffin, and he was like one of the toughest fighters I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, you know what? I could do this. And I just kind of decided, and from that point on, I just started going to the gym and just never fell out of love with it, you know? Just stuck with it and just kept the progression going, and the constant learning is just so addicting, you know? Like, once you figure a little thing out, you're like, oh my God, you get mind blown, and you want to do more and more and more, you know? It's just addicting for me to be in the gym. It's addicting for me to just keep learning, and I like listening to all the different points of view, you know what I mean? I love how everyone has their own idea and their own route of doing it, and I think that all of that is going to work, you know what I mean, at any given point. If you can try to retain it and try to drill it and you know, you can't memorize everything, but there are moments in a fight where your training just kind of pops out, you know, and you can remember, you know, it's just so crazy. Like, you can be just in the moment in a fight, and then bam, you just remember something. You try it and it works,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and you drilled it. Like, so I try to always maintain a white belt mentality. You don't know everything. Get your ego out of there. You listen to the people that are trying to help you, and I think that's why I mean, thank you for saying that. You know what I mean? That's why I think I've progressed so far. It's just all the great people behind me. You know what I mean? So, and I try to be that good student that coaches, I feel like, just don't get enough credit. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot out of your life to be there to coach someone. All the hours, I mean, they got kids, they got a family, they got a wife that they're taking time away from, and for you to kind of disrespect them, you know, and not give them your all, and not listen to everything they're saying, and then talk back or give them attitude. I mean, I don't ever want to be that guy. I realize how important time is. Time is very, very important. So if someone's going to give you their time, that's the ultimate. That's more than money. That's
a true saying.
I mean, even 10 minutes, you know what I mean? To sit there and help you, like, that's 10 minutes of their day that they just gave you. That's better than money. They'll never get that back, ever. I can give you $10 back. I can't give you 10 minutes, you know? So it's just like, I always try to be a good student, and I feel like that's where my progression has come so far, you know?
I mean, you've definitely shown the zeal. Now, you know, everyone can have the desire to want to do some type of martial art, whether it's boxing, MMA, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, whatever's out there. But there's an old saying that says, okay, so everyone wants to fight until you get punched in the face. Tell me about your experience. Whether it was your first spar, your first amateur fight, whatever. Like, how was that experience, and how did you mentally prepare yourself to get into that ring?
So, my very first, I've had like a decent amount of things that just happen on the street where I've gotten mugged or whatnot, and that is very easy because it happens like right away. It's very fast, and you don't have to sit there or prepare for it. You know what I mean? It just kind of happens, and you have to deal with it. So those situations are like, you're just trying to survive. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you're in the street trying to survive. But then if we're comparing an actual bout where I'm competing, that was terrifying and very hard to grasp mentally, because, you know, you just, your first fight especially, you just don't know what's going to happen. You have all these dreams and goals, and then I'm just like, you know, so to get punched in the face was never that bad. Not believing in myself, you know what I mean, that was what hurt the most. You know what I mean? That was the hardest to just kind of figure out, you know what I mean? So I would say that, like, the fight was good. Getting punched in the face, that's all fine. You know what I mean? Like, I could deal with, you know, with all that, but I just wish I had just brought myself together more mentally so I could just perform the way I wanted to. You know what I mean? I blocked myself, so I had to just figure out how to move past that.
Different mental capacity.
Exactly. It's just so much more pressure than like something happens on the street and then all of a sudden, you know what I mean, you're just in this tussle, but there was no buildup of anxiety that lasted for months. And then I had to make weight, and now I'm starving to death, and then I make weight, now I'm tired from all the training, you know what I mean? And then it's fight day, and then you're nervous, okay, you want to embarrass yourself, but most of all, these people did everything to help you out, you know what I mean? You did all this stuff, so you just want it to go well, but you really, it comes with experience,
So you had your first, spar or your first amateur fight, and you just said to yourself, well, this is something I can pursue and doing and like it.
Yeah, absolutely. After the first fight, there's like a weird peace that you feel after you compete, you know what I mean? The next day you wake up, it's just so, okay, if you lose, it's not as great, you know what I mean? But there's still a sense of fulfillment.
Well, they say that from a loss, you'll learn a lot more than a win.
Exactly.
Because you go back and you watch what mistakes you made, or how can you get better. Now, no one's goal is ever to lose, but I'm just saying, when it happens, sometimes you learn a lot more and you come back even stronger.
Yeah. I mean, it's still a very complex scenario for any fighter. Anybody that gets in the ring, you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's a very, very complex situation to deal with, there's a lot of pressure behind it. So it's just a totally different scenario. There's just such a sense of fulfillment after you fight and compete. It's just, it just feels great. That's why it's so addicting. I can see why guys just never stop.
Gives you that adrenaline.
Exactly. That adrenaline rush is just so, it's so addicting. It's so addicting to compete. And it's not even a hatred, it's just you just like competing.
Oh, that sounds great. Talk to me about your conditioning, how hard it is to diet. Do you struggle with it? Is it something you've gotten used to it? Tell me a little bit about that.
So the dieting that's always come to me pretty easily. I don't really struggle with diet,
I commend you on that one. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, I just always look at it like from the beginning, it's just like, I was like, okay, I need to be like this, you know what I mean? I need to be perfect, so I need to eat right. So I found a little mental thing, okay, if I don't pick it up and eat bad, if I do not touch it, I will not eat it, you know what I mean? So if I just stop myself from touching it, I will not eat it, So just saying no, do you want some? No, you know what I mean? So even though you're dying in your head, yes, I want cookies, you know what I mean? But no, I'm not gonna eat them. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not easy, but you can simplify it. You know what I mean? So dieting has been very easy. So conditioning, I take extremely seriously. I think that a lot of people, just from a lot of different people that I've talked to and spoken to, people don't take conditioning seriously enough. And adding in all the diet, all the rest, just taking care of your body throughout training, I think is really, really important. Not eating bad during your camp so you're not inflamed, because you want to feel good to go to your next training session, because you want to be in the gym every day.
Right.
Yeah,
I see that. So you definitely, showed discipline in your dieting. I've witnessed that. Also, I followed your amateur career. I've been to a lot of your fights. You're a really exciting fighter. I always enjoy, the action that you put on. You've been more of a, jiu-jitsu fighter. Don't like to fight a lot, standing on your feet. But you have definitely been working on, your boxing skills and your ability to be able to be universal, be able to fight on the floor as well, on your feet. So I think you're on the right track. Talk to me about what your toughest fight is as of now.
My toughest fight as of now. Let's see. I feel like I've gone the distance on a lot of them. So
no fight's an easy fight.
It's just no fight's an easy fight. But so my toughest fight, I'd have to say would be with Mario Lopez was definitely, I think, my type. He just was locking. I was trying to take him down. He was just locking up a Kimura. You know what I mean? And we just kept getting stuck in that situation. But I mean, I still came away with the victory. He was just he was very, very good. You know, at like just negating a lot. So I mean, I landed a couple big shots in the first round, which I think kind of solidified my win because I messed up his face pretty good. But he was definitely a tough fight. That was a very tough fight. Where if I would have made a mistake, I know he could have capitalized very easily.
Yeah.
You know, he came from 10th Planet, LA, and they're really, really good jiu-jitsu. You know, so they just I know if I would have made any type of mistake, like that was gonna be bad. So, and I was pretty tired at the end of that fight, just trying to battle my way through it. That was definitely my toughest fight.
Well, let me tell you, me being in most of your amateur fights, I've never seen you in an easy fight. Every fight has been action-packed, and you know you persevere in a way that you know it's going to help you with your MMA career. But you never know what the fighter's thinking, right? I mean, the fighter, what they're in the middle of the ring, you're the one getting hit, you're hitting back. So mentally, you're always going to have a fight that's in the background of your mind and say, man, this had to be one of my toughest fights. This one was a tough fight, but not as tough as this one. You always have that behind your mind, you know? But I'm sure you definitely learn from it as well as a fighter. From those tough fights.
Definitely, yeah. Especially it's just weird how you get like this muscle memory that you learn from fighting. I feel like that's like the ultimate experience. You know what I mean? When something happens to a fight and you can kind of jump back to it like very fast in the gym, and it's just something that you remember, you know? I don't know, it's very hard to remember your fights, but you remember certain things that happen.
Right.
And things that you work on, like, oh yeah, I remember I need to work on this, or this happened, and like you drill that extra hard because you know it was something that was hard for you. So I think just competing in general, it's always tough, and then you always take it serious. You know what I mean? Like Absolutely. You wind your cardio, you know, it really helps you to work hard when you get that experience in competition. You're like, you know what's going to happen. Right. You know, keeping your weight, you know, all that.
Yeah. Well, let's close it with this. Where do you see yourself? I know right now we're struggling with this whole coronavirus thing going on, and you know, it's stalling the fights. Everyone's feeling it. But where do you see yourself with your MMA career? Say a year or two from now. What are your goals? So once you became a pro, what do you want to do as a pro with your career?
So, as a pro, I'm looking to I really want to go undefeated. That's a really, really huge goal of mine. It's more just like an ultimate thing for myself, you know what I mean? It's not the most important thing, but I feel like I could make the jump very, very fast to UFC because I just feel in a different spot mentally, you know what I mean? I just feel, I don't know, it's weird to explain. Like I feel I'm just ready, you know what I mean? Especially after this whole quarantine, and I just want it. I'm going to do everything I can to be successful and make it, you know what I mean?
I see the hunger, definitely. I mean, you're committed to your training, you're committed to your dieting. As an amateur, you're definitely putting up a great show. A lot of your fans come back and they want to watch you in action, including me. So, you know, once you have the first pro fights and you're getting close to a championship as a champ, what are your goals after that? Let's go deeper into.
So if we're gonna go deep, I mean, really, I don't care about the fame or the money, but I'd like to find a way to leave a legacy.
Well, once you make it, you can always give it to me.
Exactly, that's okay. I wanna, you know, we have 2 kids. Like, it's just, I want to make sure that they're good. I want to make sure my family's good, and then be able to just help people, you know, just do something with, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to be famous, but if I can use what I have to do something good, I would rather, that's what I want to do. Like,
and there's a lot of athletes that actually use that popularity to, inspire others, get kids off the street.
Exactly.
Do positive things, So I mean, I think that's a great thing that you're thinking is a great way to do with the popularity. I just want to wish you the very best, with your MMA career. I think that, you're going to go far with it. My prediction is you will go undefeated for as long as mentally you're prepared. And I think that you will unify titles and possibly gain a few different weight divisions and conquer. For sure. Please follow Mr. Christoph on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Christoph Fluke.
Christoph Fluke. Follow this man's career. He provides his fans with awesome amateur fights at the moment. As soon as the floodgates open with this coronavirus thing, he will be becoming pro. So keep following him, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you guys very much for watching the Andujo Boxing Review. Mr. Christoph, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know time is valuable to everyone. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Andujo Boxing Review. And also, don't forget to follow me on Papa Boxing 1 for further updates. Thank you. Have a good night.